She has the record lowest ratings ever recorded for Dateline NBC because people are sick of it and they don't want hit pieces. Megyn Kelly showed herself to be absolutely, completely, and totally deceptive. This is 1,000 times bigger than Megyn Kelly, 1,000 times bigger than Alex Jones. This is 100 times bigger than Donald Trump. This is about humanity and our destiny and our future. And it's about MSM with its billions of dollars per station crafting lies. And if you watch the 19-minute piece, it is one lie from pillar to post, from the start to the finish. And that's why I can't just start attacking it today, because we're going to basically make a mini documentary with the behind-the-scenes audio and video. And we're going to show you lie after lie after lie systematically so you can see that this is the ultimate lie. But bigger than that, you can also see it's the ultimate failure. From putting a heat lamp over my head to morphing my face and blowing it up big and lighting her perfectly to saying Trump's a liar, I'm a liar, Joe Biggs is a liar, no drugs come across the Mexico border. We're not journalists. That wasn't drugs in those containers. We talked to the FBI. We talked to the state police. We talked to the high-level folks in ICE who told us where to go watch because they've been ordered to stand down. Joe was briefed by the FBI after this, and he was briefed before the next mission, and he went into Mexico where they have an al-Qaeda base, an ISIS base, and it was later confirmed 1 year after that indeed that was an ISIS facility by Judicial Watch. So, Joe Biggs, our reporter, goes in. We also first reported that in McAllen, the federal government was shipping people in and giving them money to be shipped by Greyhound and other bus, wherever they wanted to go in the country, to Democratic facilities. And then later that all broke. You knew it as the, quote, migrant crisis, the children. The media spun it, they were children. 17% were under the age of 18. It was whole families. And we went into the centers, we went into the facilities, we went and we showed you. Jakari Jackson showed you, Adon Salazar showed you, Joe Biggs showed you, I showed you, John Bound showed you. We all went to the border and we went in the terminals and we showed you all of it. We interviewed the local county emergency manager that said, yes, we're ordered to load them in. They're not checked at the border. They come in, we put them onto the vehicle and we bring them in. No ID, no nothing. So we show that, and Megyn Kelly says, look at the fake journalism. They claim these men swimming across the Rio Grande are bringing in drugs. We talked to law enforcement. They said those are 55-pound standard cartel bags. It's marijuana. It floats. The mules or the couriers then go back across and do it over and over and over again, unless sometimes there are people that are illegal coming in, and part of their passage across is that they've got to carry the bags. 55-pound packs. It's compacted marijuana. Its classic name is Mexican brown weed. It's known because it's dead. It's brown. It's been compacted. It's the classic marijuana that's always flooded Texas my whole life. Give me the worst headache you can imagine. But the point is, that is the, you know, kind of the Budweiser of marijuana. It's the cheap, or the Milwaukee's best. And everybody knows it, and that's what it is, and it's being brought across, and it's being loaded on right in front of you. I mean, we've got it coming across the Rio Grande with a camera. Then we're waiting when they come through the woods, the same people catch it on both sides, a perfect media sting. Where's our Peabody? Where's our Pulitzer? Where's our award for risking our lives? We don't get one. Megyn Kelly, who'd never get close to that, says that it's fake. Yeah, they were just carrying their dirty laundry across, or I don't know, maybe some food. No, it's drugs. And you'd have to be a conspiracy theorist to say it wasn't. But getting back to Megyn Kelly, because it's bigger than her. It's about the fall. Ladies and gentlemen, I looked at her ratings with Putin. It was 7 million. Dateline NBC had up to 15 million viewers when I've been on it 2 or 3 times before. And it was never even a big deal. I mean, I'm on big shows all the time. This was hype. She has the record lowest ratings ever recorded for Dateline NBC because people are sick of it and they don't want hit pieces. And it was a total hit piece where she just acted like she interviewed me, waited till I paused, waited till I wiggled my chair over almost 2 hours, and then cut it together like I was a sweating buffoon. Well, people all know the reality. They see this gibbering, stammering person when I'm the opposite of that. People know they just saw fraud. But we've got it all. We've got the audio. We've got everything. But Mike Cernovich just pointed out to me, America's Funniest Home Videos has higher ratings in reruns than this. Mike Cernovich will be on with us in studio coming up with Jesse James in just a little while. But break this down for us.
Exactly. She was humiliated. We counter-programmed her. So I don't know. Should you do her a favor and release the tapes is my question, because the way I'm thinking is nobody cares about her. Nobody cares about her. Do we want to promote her brand anymore because she's going to be out of the game? So I would say don't even release the audio. Yeah, okay. What's the point of releasing the audio when she's a failure and needs us to promote her brand? We would be doing her a huge favor. So I don't think we should release the audio. And I want to be 100% clear here. In fact, let's pull that up. I'll give folks your source on that. Record low ratings, what, 3-point-something million. We'll show you the actual document here in a moment. This is joke level. We're not here saying we're on a power trip. We're not here saying we're big, we're powerful. It's not that we're that big, she's that little. There it is, Hollywood Reporter. The show offers up a flat 3.5 million viewers. Ladies and gentlemen, that is complete and total joke level. Sean Hannity every day has like 8 million viewers on his, or listeners on his radio show, 3 to 5 million on his nightly show. This broadcast has over 3 million a day conservatively. Rush Limbaugh has upwards of 10 million listeners a day. People like Coast to Coast AM's George Norrie has 6 to 8 million listeners a day. I mean, talk radio is the biggest thing out there, but TV believes it's so elite and so powerful. We're only pointing out that 3.5 for her show, when it was hyped like it was the end of the world, is unbelievable. They hyped this like the Super Bowl for over 2 weeks. And let's expand on this. Mike Cernovich on his Facebook put out one video that was titled, let me go from memory here, Megyn Kelly, the Queen of Fake News. I saw his internal analytics on his phone yesterday at my house, where it had 4.5 million views, and then another version had 2 million views on somebody else's channel, and our channel copied it and had 1 million views, and then all my other videos together were over 15 million views. Just a few of the videos we put together. So with his views, that's 22+ million views in the last week on videos we put out online. We get 22 mil. She gets 3.5 mil. Now, this, again, this shows how it is literally a giant fraud, a giant hoax, a giant paper tiger. Mike Cernovich. Yeah, exactly. TV's a dead medium. It was a fun thing to kind of do, but she tried to use you for the ratings. It didn't work. People aren't interested in what they have to say. I mean, I actually got a funny comment from somebody who's a more liberal person, a liberal media critic, and he had said to me, he said, they brought on Tom Brokaw, whereas you had on me and Andrew Torba, the founder of a new social media company. We're the future. We're the truth. The best they can do is Megyn Kelly. I didn't know who Tom Brokaw was. And then when I saw him, I thought it was Dan Rather. Who cares? They think they're going to lecture us. And then meanwhile, you have me. I'm out there breaking big news. Andrew Torba's on there doing great things in social media. We're the future. They're the past. Everybody sees it now. Even the liberals who might disagree with us are saying, Cernovich, you know, I'm trying to tell my friends that if you guys don't up your game, you're going to be crushed, and they're winning the game. That's what they're saying about us. Everybody now who understands is saying that we are winning and destroying the media game. And the left, even with their big pharma advertisers, the poison that they sell people, all the diseases that they make up that don't even exist, even with all that money behind them and Soros behind them, we have them on the run for the first time since probably 1950. And I'll tell you what's crazy. I'm not being mean to old people. I love old people that are patriots. But when you looked at all the hosts except for Kelly, they all looked like they were 80 years old, and they were all trying to act like they were cool hipsters. You know, oh, legalize marijuana, or oh, let's go to New Zealand, or let's go do this or that. And then they roll out Tom Brokaw, who called me a total unalloyed racist earlier in the week. And then they come back, and he's at the end of the show to say we must stand against this evil racist. You know, we've got to do all this. I mean, this is unbelievable. They literally opened up like the Crypt Keeper's mausoleum
to bring out all their heavy hitters. And I realized that's because all the execs are super old at NBC. That's because the shareholders are. I see the parties they have with Megyn Kelly, you know, on the runway, and it's a bunch of 75, 85, 90-year-old people with their trophy wife, 45-year-old women, and it's all these old men like Hugh Hefner's in these photos. You can Google their names, Dan Rather, Megyn Kelly, and see them on the runway together, and like all these little old men that are shorter than her, and that's no big deal. You get smaller as you get older. You know, my dad's like a foot shorter than he used to be, and I'm a few inches shorter than I used to be, because, you know, you slunch over, your discs start collapsing, whatever. But there's like all these little gremlin men like hanging on her like she's their mommy, and they hope Medusa can roll out and defeat us. And then they have 3.5 million viewers, according to Nielsen and Hollywood Reporter. This is the biggest joke I've ever seen. Ladies and gentlemen, my Sunday show is only half the size of my weekday broadcast, but I like to get ahead of the news. It's got over 100 affiliates. Conservatively, according to the ad agencies that get the big spectrum of ratings that come in, it has close to 2 million listeners on average that tune in. Sometimes if there's an NFL game or something, it's like, you know, not even 1 million. But that's on commercial radio rated, almost 2 million. The weekday show, almost 4 million over the 3-4 hours. But that's rated. And then, of course, there's internet and live streams and everything else. It's huge. We're talking conservatively 45 million different people that tune in each week, one way or the other. If that's 45 million people, it's not 6 million like Tom Brokaw. But notice Tom Brokaw on every other channel this week kept saying 6 million, 6 million, 6 million. There was no original article that even said that. Some talking point went out and said the 6 million, and I think it came from Podesta, because the entire attack we're seeing from Pizzagate to Newtown to everything is the exact hit pieces they put out a year ago in the Hillary campaign against myself and Trump. It's word for word. What do you think?
Yeah, it's old news and it's boring, and all credit, of course, to you and the people who sucked the air dry. So what happened is, because we counter-programmed so aggressively, everybody had already thought they watched the interview. Nobody cared to watch Megyn Kelly. If you actually read the articles, all the articles talked about how we were drinking champagne and having fun and toasting to victory and everything. Nobody even cared about what Megyn Kelly said. It goes to show she's not interesting. She doesn't read books. I've said, ask Megyn Kelly, what is the last book she has read? She clearly is not literate. She's not cultured. She didn't read a book about Russia before she went to Putin. I'd actually heard from my sources in the media that she had made some very, she mistook St. Petersburg landmarks for things that were in Moscow. She completely humiliated herself.
She got really excited when she talked about Putin to me. And again, she doesn't get this. Even a toad like me with a heat lamp over my head, who'd been working since, 7 in the morning, interviewing me at 10 at night, and despite all the editing and almost 2 hours that she had just from that interview, all she could put out was the 5 or 6 stammers, the 5 or 6 times that I wiped my brow to make me look uneasy, and all these jump cuts. And even CNN reporters came out and said, this adds credence to Jones because it's so edited. And that's what Sean Hannity said. He said, listen, I'm not taking sides here. But he said, this is totally edited. The American people deserve to see the full interview. I mean, this is a joke.
Yeah, I was embarrassed by the whole thing. And it goes to show we should not waste our time talking to these people. They can't bring us they don't bring anything to the table. NBC doesn't bring anything to the table.
Well, but let's be clear. Her show didn't overall, but the giant spectacle and the trolling them did, because I realized when I bought that bottle of champagne at the grocery store yesterday with you, before we came into the office, we were hanging out at my house, I knew that regardless, just popping the champagne bottle and declaring victory would be victory, because they don't get it. Mainstream media is already hated and reviled. They're already seen as the enemy. So all we have to do is signify and identify with the public that hates them and celebrate their cultural power's death. That was the big win, was simply the act of pissing on them.
Well, and that's what I've been trying to tell all these weak beta males in the GOP who we have to rout in 2018. The hit piece only lands if you flinch. When you laugh in their face and you mock them and you toast champagne, it doesn't even matter what's showing.
Exactly. If they throw a punch, listen, that time Glenn Danzig, who's a great musician and everything else, got in a fight with a guy a lot bigger than him and took it on the chin and got knocked out, that really hurt him. But if it wouldn't have knocked him out, it would have made him even stronger. Or if he'd have got back up and uppercutted the guy, then, he'd be champion of the world. And I'm not trying to knock Glenn Danzig. The point is his bodyguards jumped in and wouldn't let him keep fighting. Maybe he would have won. The point is that if you take it on the chin, And then it even knocks you down when you get back up. You're Superman. And that's why I went into it. Even a sweating blob up there with them lying and those snakes attacking me from every side, even though I'm not that strong. I'm not that good. My heart's good. I want freedom. And I knew we would defeat them. And across the board, they admit we destroyed them. And she had to lie on tape and promise it wasn't a hit piece. She's now known as a total liar, a total fraud. This is a devastating defeat for them.
Yeah, nobody interesting is going to talk to her now because we all heard her commit journalistic fraud. She is now a journalistic fraud. People who are interesting like me, why would I ever talk to her now, especially for paltry viewers? I'll do more on that, spending my time on Facebook, and that's something the fake news people, media people have to understand. They get real angry because I blow them off, and I go, look, dude, I can do a video or write a blog post. More people are going to read it. They're going to read your article, so don't waste my time. So the only media people I'll talk to now, they have to be literate and have read books, and that means it's only like 5% of journalism, because the other people, they ask you the same questions over and over again, the same boring thing, Sandy Hook, Pizzagate, this or that, and the public is burned out. You have to stay fresh. So the optics of it, I mean, you could, if you wanted to talk about a meme, you could compare you, me, Andrew Torba on one side. On the other side, Dan Rather or Tom Rather or whatever the guy's name is. And Megyn Kelly on the other side, and then go show that to the people and say, what is the future and what is the past?
Exactly. Or just show shots of younger people that are on YouTube, even than us, and like show their stats that are like 20 times bigger, and then say, now look at these people rolling out a retiree like Tom Brokaw. But again, if Tom Brokaw was promoting freedom, he would have giant audiences no matter how old he was. So it's not bashing old people. It just shows, though, it is a bunch of old, out-of-touch people that still think globalism's going to win when we've kicked their butt. Thanks, Mike Cernovich. More coming up on the Russia crisis.
In ancient times, man roamed the earth in a constant state of hunting or being hunted. Introducing Caveman, where cutting-edge science meets ancient super nutrients. Secure your bottle right now at InfoWarsStore.com.